Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. This month of March, we are joining the global call to action to promote gender equality and empowerment. Here on The Source, we are featuring women who have or continue to dedicate their lives to public service. A champion for resilience and the environment.
20 years ago, when I authored the laws, Clean Air, Clean Water, and the Climate Change Act, people thought Loren Legarda is boring. But now it's so relevant.
A voice that empowers women from all walks of life.
Women have been abused and used for so long.
A staunch advocate of the country's culture and the arts.
I make it a point to wear Philippine-made products.
And a woman behind landmark legislation protecting Filipinas from abuse. Let's go straight to the source of the story. A longtime public servant, a champion for the environment, public and arts, and of course, still a current senator, Senator Loren Legarda. Senator, thank you so much for welcoming us. This is not your home.
It's my
We are
office,
not
which
in
looks
her
like
home.
my home, right? And people imagine that a Senate workspace would have cubicles and office tables in government and steel cabinets. Instead, what they see are some contemporary artworks, indigenous products of our Gamaba or Manlilikan Bayan awardees, or pallets transformed
This one,
into
yeah.
work tables and nito and mangyan baskets.
Capis.
Yes, and binakol weaves hanging from the ceiling, and even a Pagana Maranao textile later on.
When did you begin to think that transformed?
Oh, that's
your-
a story. Okay,
Okay.
this has to be a 2-hour interview, not just 30 minutes. Because when I first redid the office, and this is not the Senate building, this is a GSIS building rented by the Senate. So it's not a very pretty space, to be very diplomatic in my words. And so if you look at the building and you've seen it, it's not the best inspiring building to work in. But I've been here for 20 years, since 1998. After 20 years, just like you, in television. So you compute. Okay. And so I decided, when I worked in this office, which used to have cubicles and steel cabinets, that I would convert it into something that inspires me and the people. So I hold my staff literally out of this office, small office. They were there for 3 months in another room, and I just got someone to do what I wanted. Take out the floor, which are made of vinyl tiles, and just leave the plain cement like the art spaces.
It's beautiful, I have to tell
yes,
you.
Yes,
Yeah, I
just
love
like
it.
art spaces in Europe or even art spaces in the Philippines. And next, I didn't want the tables. And my son's business is solar energy, and the pallets which he was going to discard off, I said, Mommy can have it. And I just had our driver do this
one.
table, which is not the prettiest table. It could be improved. In fact, I will put the legs inside. Now, my collection of textiles and of chairs from my home in Malabon. And if you see the 2 computer tables, these are cast-off pipes and old TNG windows from our home in Malabon, which again were discarded. I put it together, and it's my work table for my computers. And there's a great artist named Jun Yi, walked in here and said, serendipitous. I said, what do you mean? I have my white painting made of TNG, exactly like a table you did. So it's a space that inspires and empowers, that agitates and stresses, where I just put together little things.
So, Senator, when did you finish this, your office?
A few years ago,
Okay.
I actually haven't finished my story. So I fixed it, and my staff did not see it. When they first walked in, you could see not the amazement or not even the gratitude in their faces, but they shocked and disdain for the space. Because remember, they are not exposed to contemporary art. They may not be, they may not know that plain cement is acceptable in a Senate office, and why a paletang table and not our individual desks. So I said, taran! Imagine a senator designing a space for the staff. And they just look, And Junie was here. Look at my cameraman smiling. Junie was here. Then he said, Loren, wag ka na. He talks like Bisaya. Wag ka na magsama ng loob. Then he's telling my staff, maganda yan. It's an acquired taste. And eventually, you will love it.
And do they love it now?
Ask them. They are forced to love it. No, they love it. And many people have entered this space. Wow, it's not like an office. It's not like a Senate building. Look at my doors. I have Bay Matumpis. I have the Antique door. I have the Marawi door. I have the Lautech style with copper wires, which contemporizes traditional antique textiles. And so every door here has a story. The Lautech style on my main door, the Maranao Landap door entering my office, and when you're seated in my desk later in my office, it's the Antique door, which is the province where my grandparents are from.
All right. So, as mentioned a while ago, the senator has been in public service for quite a while, almost 20 years.
2 decades, yes. I actually started as a child. Yes.
And she has obviously filed, authored, co-authored, passed so many laws that we are enjoying now. Which ones would be her top-notch favorites? We'll find out after the break. Welcome back to the program. Our guest today is Senator Loren Legarda. Numerous bills, Senator. Which ones would be closest to your heart that promote women and children?
In my first term, in 2001, we authored the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act, which criminalizes the sale, the abuse of women and children domestically and internationally. It was not very effective. So in after 2010, 11 or 12, we have the expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act, which also involves those who are conduits linking children and women with syndicates abroad. So, mas mahigpit, it's a stronger law which we enacted. It is so sad to say, but we have to admit it so that we know how to cure it, that we are, Pinky, the #1 source of minors, of children, for cyber pornography. Trafficking, cybercrime, cyber pornography, the victims are children. The victims are women. Sometimes it's even the parents and relatives and the closest of kin who peddle the wares of these children. And so it's very sad, and we know that government cannot do it alone. To be the #1 source of children for cyber crimes and cyber pornography is heartbreaking, to say the least. So while we have the law, and we have also increased, meaning tier 1, meaning we've improved our prosecution, we still are #1. So that really boggles the mind, and it makes me very angry as a woman, as a mother, as a human being, as a legislator. And so we work closely with the agencies of government. And hindi lang dapat huli ng huli. We should really know the source. Where are the children? The connection of these international syndicates, predators who prey on these innocent families. And so I asked them to really, in all seaports and airports and bus terminals, ilagay, have a strong info campaign on how a trafficker looks like, what's a suspicion of a trafficker, what trafficking means. They might think it's a Metro Manila traffic. Bawal magbenta ng bata, babae, sinuman. Bawal mangalakal ng bata. At ito ang magiging parusa niyo. Takutin sila gaya ng drug war.
Apart from that, any other law you feel that is very close to your heart?
Anti-Domestic Violence Act, yes.
Okay.
I remember it was in my first term when a medical doctor, I won't say the hospital, in a graduation came to me, and she was in the family way, and she said, I'm newly separated and I'm about to give birth. It was your law, the Anti-Domestic Violence Act, that gave me the lakas ng loob para magsumbong at makipaghiwalay. Yes. And so, I don't know if I felt happy or sad or may silbi yung batas pero masakit yung nangyari. Kala nila ang abuse physical lang, which is also bad. Of course, physical,
but it's physical,
emotional, psychological, financial.
Yeah.
O sabihin, ang bobo-bobo mo eh. That's abuse. Yeah. Or ang pang-bababae. That's abuse. Withholding support and the woman is not financially independent and doesn't know how to make both ends meet. Women have been abused and used for so long. Men too. Children too. So, huwag naman magalit ang mga lalaki. Iba, sila naman naaabuso, di ba? With abusive women, there could be, right? But generally, so,
Yun naman yun, generally.
Yeah, okay, exception. So, my laws, apart from the laws that I've authored on the environment, on the Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, the Ecological Solid
At the
Waste
time,
Management
Senator,
Law.
that people really found it boring, to say
Yes.
the least. You know,
See? Correct.
Anything about the
20
environment,
years ago,
nauna ka na.
yes, Pinky, I'm glad you said that. 20 years ago, when I authored the laws, Clean Air, Clean Water, Ecological Solid Waste Management Law, Renewable Energy Law, Environmental Education Awareness, and the Climate Change Act, 20 years ago, people thought Loren Legarda is boring. Why is she doing this? Correct?
Yeah.
But now it's so relevant. Yeah. So the Climate Change Act...
It's real and it's happening.
It's real. It's a clear and present danger. And you think, what if I did not author, maybe somebody else would have, but the Ecological Solid Waste Management Law, the segregation of waste at source, recycling, and compost. You see my garbage bins. I have 5. Nabubulok, hindi nabubulok, latak residual, paper waste, bottle, lata plastic, etc. What if garbage was not segregated? We'll just have dump site and dump sites. These are many things. I can go on and on. And a little law, which is not little, the Tropical Fabric Law, mandating the use of Philippine textiles, like this yakan weave of Louis Lobregat, she'll be so happy, who's from Zamboanga, helping the yakan village there and the yakan weavers through Philippine textiles. It's beautiful, it's simple, it's inexpensive. I'm also proud, let's say, another law I authored is the Micro and Small and Medium Enterprises Law, where we give equipment to those who need it for micro-enterprise. I'm wearing Marikina made shoes of a young entrepreneur called Tish Sevilla. So I'm proud to say, they'll be so happy I'm mentioning them. But I make it a point to wear Philippine-made products so that below 2,000 pesos, I wear Marikina made shoes. Below 5,000 pesos, I wear my Senate outfit.
In fact, Ms. Manangkil had called you a fashion icon for fashionalism.
Fashionalism, yes, many years ago.
Right, in her article.
Because I've actually merged my strong sense of nationalism
and
everyday fashion. Yes.
All right, the senator will be ending her term in 2019. Is she going to be retiring from public service? We'll find out after the break. Welcome back to the program. Senator, you are a global leader. You're an inspiration to so many women. You're an award-winning journalist. You're a respectable public servant. What else? What else is next? What else do you feel you need to do? Kulang pa ba?
There's always something to do because it's such an imperfect world. And I'm just driven by so much passion to make a difference in the lives of people. There's so many children that need to be taken off the streets. There's so many families that live under bridges. There are still families that live on caritons. We still have so many informal settlers that need to have a home. We still need to implement the free tertiary or college education law. We still need to help our teachers get better pay. We were able to double the pay of the military and the uniformed personnel and the police. We still need to conduct, let's say, our marine biodiversity inventory of the wealth of our waters.
Philippine waters.
Yes, we still need to protect our protected areas. And
wow, you have so much to do.
So much to do. That's why if you see the documentation of the work I do, there's still a need to document indigenous culture and the schools of living tradition. There's still the need to create and to craft the Department of Culture. There's still the need to pass many of our treaties, conventions, and international agreements. There's still the need to empower our rural poor and to give them basic needs and bringing government closer to our people. There's still the need to document the indigenous knowledge of our indigenous people. There's I can go on and on and on. There's so much to do for climate change mitigation and adaptation, and the road to resilience is a challenge for many local governments. There's still a need to make each of the 1,634 municipalities and cities to know where their vulnerabilities are, what are their risks, ano yung bundok na maaring mahulog, gumuho, anong gagawin pag mataas may storm surge or may tsunami, for them to love their protected areas and to guard their forests and to work within their means with the resources, exploit, utilize but not exploit.
So I take it that you will be just taking a break from politics and you'll be right back?
I'm not even over. I'm just talking about work. But there's also so much to do in terms of smelling the flowers, of loving and caring and nurturing, of just being happy, of pausing and seeing life, of writing, writing poetry, of painting, of doing installations.
Is that what you want to do?
Of doing
also?
gardening, of planting more organic gulay.
So you are going to take a 3-year break, at least for now, after 2019?
I don't think I'll ever take a break. Even when I'm going to pause, it's not a break.
Okay,
I would
let's
like
call
to
it
think,
a pause.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even if I pause, it's like a pause, but I'm on a bullet train. So actually, I'm not certain because it's a fork in the road. It's not just a fork, it's forks in the road.
Lots of them, yeah.
Yes.
But is there a particular direction you want to take, for example, in government? In government, not being a senator, maybe an appointed position by the Duterte administration to further your advocacies. Is there?
Pinky, yes, I'd like to clarify that, and I'd like to be honest with you. Yes, there are great possibilities of involvement in tasks in the executive department. Yes, I'm thinking about it, seriously thinking about it, both in elective office in the lower house or working in the executive department or doing what I fancy to do, which I've never done before.
Which is?
Art and gardening, farming.
Wow, there's so much.
There's so much
I don't even know where you're going to go.
The 3 years, kulang yun, di ba? Yes, or falling in love. Yeah.
May pag-asa pa ba?
Palagi may pag-asa. Oo. I don't believe in walang pag-asa. Yeah.
Okay, just last 2 questions. Because you brought it up. What is your status right now?
Oh, I'm single, legally single. I've been legally single for so long, for more than 10 years.
And you're not seeing anyone?
No, well, no.
The other question then would
No, I'm
be...
not. Okay, I'm just tickling their imagination.
She's not seeing anyone. Okay,
Yes.
so that's clear.
I see many people every day.
Okay, but you're not seeing exclusively a man exclusively.
Those are questions difficult to answer. Yes.
It's so funny when I ask you a question, you have so many answers, but with this one, this was a hard one.
Yes,
to
it's a
answer.
very hard one.
Okay, I'm sure this will be easy as a last question. Can you define the Filipina today?
Filipina. Oh. She's both empowered and abused. She is both talented and skilled and deprived of opportunities. She is both successful or opportunities are not accessible. Because while we say the Filipina with great anchors and entrepreneurs and CEOs and elected officials and people in government and in business and industry, many out there living abroad as overseas Filipino workers, as mothers in the rural areas, people wandering the streets, begging in the streets, still so much to do. Filipinas who have lost their jobs, who have been abused in other countries like Kuwait, who are going to leave their families, their children for less than $500 a month. And that breaks my heart, and that makes me want to work harder for them.
Would you ever, I'm going to have to add this last one, but very quickly, would you still consider running for a higher position?
Never. That I'm sure of. Because I I found my peace. I'm at peace, and I know what's for me and what's not for me. And being in the Senate, the people have elected me 3 times, with the highest number of votes 2 times, the second number high of votes for the 2nd time. I know where the people want me. I've done good laws. I'm proud of my work as chairman of the Finance Committee. I've funded free tertiary education, free irrigation for farmers, the doubling of military pay, the payment of the pension of our veterans, universal health care coverage for the poor. I've done so much, so I know what's for me. And I think that's best in life. You know what's for you, you know what's for you, what's not for you.
Senator Loren Legarda, pleasure to have you. It was such a nice interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pinky.
Thank
Yes,
you, Senator.
More power to you.
Thank
it
you.
was enjoyable. It wasn't work at all.
And thank you for joining us here on The Source in the Senator's office. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.